In this video, we'll be focusing on verbs. Specifically, we'll cover the 5 core forms of a verb, regular and irregular verbs, auxiliary verbs, and modal verbs. Let's get right into it. A verb is a word that expresses an action or a state of being. According to English grammar rules, every sentence needs a verb. If there's no verb, it's not a sentence. For example, in the sentence, she runs, runs is the verb, telling us what she is doing. In she is tired, is the verb. This isn't an action, but it reflects a state of being and tells us something essential about the subject. Verbs come in different forms, but every verb has what we call 5 core forms: the base form, the third person singular present tense, the past participle, and the present participle. That might sound like a lot, but as languages go, English is actually quite tame when it comes to verb forms. And chances are you already know the verb forms naturally. Let's break it down with a simple example. Let's take a verb like walk. Its 5 forms are the base form, walk, as in I walk, the third person singular present tense, walks, as in he walks, the past tense, walked, I walked, the past participle, walked, I have walked, and the present participle, walking, as in I am walking. While we do have other tenses that might have us add words to these verb forms, for example, the future I will walk, that's simply adding a word to an already established verb form. In this case, the future tense is will plus the base form of the verb, walk. You may notice that essentially the past form and past participle form are identical in terms of the verb form, and we've simply added the word have. That is true when it comes to what's called regular verbs. With regular verbs, we just add an ed for the past and past participle. But not all verbs function like this, which brings us to irregular verbs. For example, let's take a look at the word eat. With eat, we'd have the base form eat, I eat, the third person singular present tense eats, he eats, the past tense ate, I ate, the past participle eaten, I have eaten, and the present participle eating, I am eating. Here, you'll notice that the difference between the past form and the past participle form, ate versus eaten, isn't just the added word had. They're entirely different verb forms. That's what makes it irregular. Some other examples of irregular verbs are run, write, see, or sing. Try filling out the chart yourself to see where they differ from regular verbs. Now let's talk about auxiliary verbs. You might also know them as helping verbs. The 3 most common auxiliary verbs are be, have, and do. Although this sounds simple enough, keep in mind that this includes all forms of these words. As a quick reminder, be includes am, is, are, was, were, being, and been. Have includes has, had, and having, and do includes does, did, done, and doing. These are verbs that don't usually stand alone. Instead, they team up with a main verb to help show when something happened, or tense, the mood of the sentence, or how it happened, otherwise known as voice. For example, in the sentence, I am reading, reading is the main verb, while am is the auxiliary verb. The am helps tell us that the action is happening right now, thereby indicating to us that this sentence is in the present progressive tense. Other examples of the auxiliary verb indicating the tense are he has eaten, with the has indicating the present perfect tense, they are angry, with the are indicating the present progressive tense, and we had left before it rained, with the had indicating the past perfect tense. And now let's take a look at when the auxiliary verb indicates the mood. In grammar, mood doesn't refer to emotions. Rather, it refers to the speaker's intent or attitude. There are 3 main moods in English: indicative, used for statements and questions, imperative, used for commands, and subjunctive, used for wishes, suggestions, and hypothetical situations. Using auxiliary verbs helps to create these moods. An example of an imperative sentence with an auxiliary verb would be, did she call you? With the auxiliary verb, did, helping to form a question, I do want to help, showing emphasis, or he doesn't understand, indicating a negative. Examples of imperative sentences would be quiet, do sit down, or don't be late. all showing commands. And examples of subjunctive mood sentences would be, he wished he had more time, if I were you, I'd be happy, and it's vital she be told. These sentences all showcase a hypothetical situation or a desire. And lastly, we have voice. In grammar, voice refers to the relationship between the subject of the sentence and the action of the verb. There are two main voices in English, the active voice and the passive voice. In the active voice, the subject is the one doing the action. For example, in the sentence, the chef cooked the meal, chef is the subject and cooked is the action word. The chef is clearly the one doing the cooking. In the passive voice, the subject receives the action, and this is where auxiliary verbs come in. For example, in the sentence, the meal was cooked by the chef, we now see that the meal is the subject and is receiving the action, getting cooked. To structure the passive tense in this sentence, we use the auxiliary verb was plus the past participle, in this case, cooked. In fact, the passive voice is always formed using an auxiliary verb, usually a form of the verb be, followed by the past participle of the main verb. For example, the report is being written, the invitations will be sent tomorrow, or the cake has been served. Auxiliary verbs can also be used in the active voice, but that simply brings us back to tense. For example, he is crying tells us a sentence is in the present simple, they had been working is in the past perfect progressive, etc. But when we're specifically talking about voice, it's the passive voice that depends on auxiliary verbs to function. Lastly, let's take a quick look at modal verbs. Modal verbs are used to express things like possibility, ability, permission, necessity, or certainty. Although it sounds like a lot, chances are you already know how modal verbs work naturally. Modal verbs are words like can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, and must. They work together with the main verb of the sentence. For example, in the sentence, he can swim, can shows ability. In they might arrive late, might suggests possibility. In you must stop, must shows necessity. One thing to note is that modal verbs don't change form. They stay the same no matter who the subject is. So although we'd say she laughs, we'd never say she cans. They're always just can, should, must, etc. Also, modal verbs are always followed by the base form of the verb, the plain, unconjugated version. So we'd say, for example, can go, might think, and should eat, not can went, might thought, or should eating. And that wraps up the first half of our review on verbs. We've covered the 5 core forms of a verb, regular versus irregular verbs, auxiliary verbs, and modal verbs. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll delve into gerunds, infinitives, and more about past participles. Until then, keep practicing.